from? Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing.
Hey, and we are the live. Welcome. The Super PlayStation Bros. I'm joined as always by my super co-host, Dorgon, leveling up the show. How are you doing this morning / afternoon?
I'm well, my friend. I'm well. It's been a long week, tiring week, but nice, relaxing weekend. Time with friends, time with family, as you should, and rejuvenated, ready for the week ahead. How's about yourself?
Doing fantastic. I was out with the family this weekend in Canada. We still have the long weekend, so today's a holiday. Happy Civic Day, everybody. Yes, the government holiday that includes August as well as every other month in Canada, having a long weekend every single month. So go Canada.
See, I wish we did that. We have a lot of holidays. We probably have enough for one every month. But we had 3 in May, for example. We had 3 long weekends in May, which was great. Like that was fun. Like only 1 full work week in the whole month was great. But we've then gone 2 months without a single long weekend. We've got a long weekend towards the end of August, and then we don't have one again until next year. So I like the Canadian setup where you've got one a month where everybody has a long weekend where you just fully recharge, relax, rest. It's a much better way of doing it than what we've got here in the UK, where they just sort of front load all of these holidays into the first 4 or 5 months of the year.
Yeah, I guess all the vacation time is taken in May then. If you have all those long weekends, it really crowds up, I'm sure, everything that's happening.
It really does. I mean, we got an extra one this year because we got a new king and what have you. And as much as I don't much care about it, it was like, yeah, here, have an extra holiday. Cheers, Kingy, I'll take that. So we won't have the 3 of them next year. Yeah, so it was just the weekend of his coronation because everybody was having street parties, because there was cleanups that needed to happen after. It was just going to be too much work trying to get back to work on a Monday. So yeah, it got pushed back. We had an extra holiday, but we won't get that holiday next year in 2024. So we'll be back to just like the May Day holiday at the start of it, and then the Queen's Jubilee one that came in when she hit her Platinum Jubilee for reigning for 70 years. That was a permanent holiday, so we get 2 in May every year. But yeah, this time round we got 3, and hey, I wasn't arguing with an extra holiday. I just wish it had been, later in the year.
So King Charles will never make the 70 years, so you won't get another holiday.
Seriously doubt it, no.
Oh, well,
he's an old man already,
awesome
that bloke.
What's been going on in the gaming world? What have you been smacking the buttons on and playing with the joysticks, or in your case, I'm sure jumping into the VR? Oh no, we have the mobile.
Oh, it has arrived.
Yes,
the Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition. It arrived on Thursday last week, so I've been mucking around with it. I haven't actually touched my PlayStation controller for like 4 days now, because I've just been using this. It's really nice, actually. The buttons are much nicer than on the original Backbone 1. They've got more of a click to them. They're a softer feel under the hand, but not that soft that's squishy and wrong. Just it feels ergonomically nice. So yeah, I've been playing with this, a lot of remote play gaming. a lot of Tren, actually, that Media Molecule one within Dreams. I've really been enjoying Dreams that we got on PlayStation Plus last week. That's been fun. I've got through a full run of Synapse in PlayStation VR 2 as well. So I'm now into the more difficult realms of that one where things hit me harder, but I'm also hitting harder. So we'll see how that goes. And that's been about it, really. I haven't done a huge amount more this past week. There's been a lot of life that's happened, so gaming's had to take a bit of a back seat, unfortunately. How's about you? What have you been up to? You've been doing more, way more than me on the gaming front.
I would say more in one area specifically. There's a clan competition right now, first to 100, and I've just been grinding out the levels. My first Diablo experience, so I'm a little bit taken back to how this phenomenon in my mind has caught on and become so popular as it has become, because it just seems like an absolute slosh to be doing the same thing repetitive time in and time out just to level up this little bar that keeps moving across the screen. Of course, there are some really cool animations. The build is interesting, but I find the versatility. Like, if I want to create a new character, I have to start all the way from the beginning. The seasonal characters only live within their season, and then you have to restart a brand new character. You can't, like, switch builds, because the entire time you're spending resources into one pinnacle build, so you're always pressing the same kind of buttons and same mechanics to get through things. I just wish there was more ability to be versatile, more freedom to do different things. But I'm enjoying the community aspect and getting to the 100 mark, and after that I may take a big break from the
bit of a sabbatical.
SPG, thanks for tearing away from BG3 to come in and say hi.
Morning, SPG.
Hope you're enjoying yourself. And then we have Rouster.
Good morning, Rouster.
Oh, hope you're doing well, pumping the iron. As always, good sir. I'm sure more builds will come. Yeah, more builds will come, but what I'm curious about, because in Destiny 2, I'm at the pinnacle end game content. I can go from switching to a well to switching to Void Warlock without much consequence. Like, the armor and the mods, yes, I could customize to make it that much better, but really, there's not going to be a huge consequence. With Diablo, you build that build from the ground up. It is foundations, brick, roof, wood. You can't just take that apart and make it something else. It's incredibly complicated and woven into your character. So I wish there was just more versatility, that I could go from, say, a Twisting Blades rogue to a Razor Thorn rogue with just kind of like the flick of the switch. But I guess that's how the game is built, and this is my first ARPG experience. So, people always criticize this season, and then I see everyone playing it. So the game comes with criticisms, but people play it.
It's the same with many of these things. Any of the live services, people are going to constantly criticize them and then continue to play them because they want these things to change, but people aren't going to change them if people aren't playing the game and stuff. I imagine save builds will come. I imagine there's a lot more playtime that you'll need to put into it so that you've got all of the resources for multiple builds on the same character and what have you. At which point it's like, you're already at 100. What's the point of continuing to play that character? It's a fine balancing act. And I know Diablo 3 eventually got it quite right about 5 years after launch. So yeah, you can take a sabbatical, put it down once you've hit your 100 mark, and then come back in 5 years. And it'll be another great experience in the same title that you don't have to pay any more money for, sort of thing. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 in the first season was nowhere near the game that it looks like right now.
Exactly,
so
100%.
I'm fully aware that games take time and they evolve. Having something like save build, something that Destiny 2 literally just introduced, would be perfect. Would be perfect. Flip in between. I have 2 armor sets that I've been collecting side by side. That would be great. But I digress. I don't want to spend this being a Diablo show. Let's get into some PlayStation stuff and what's happening in that world. I wanted to ask because I have a little bit of experience in Genshin Impact. I played maybe to about level 10. I thought it was fully co-op, but you had to get to like level 16 to get co-op. Have you had experience with Genshin Impact? Are you
I've had two
interested
different
in
experiences with it.
expansion?
It's not my type of game. The way it's built, the way the characters interact and talk to one another, it's not something that I enjoy. The combat mechanics and the traversal mechanics and such, I quite like that. I like the whole RNG collectathon to build out your character with better weaponry, better spells, and all that sort of stuff. There are aspects of it that I like. I have played it on both PlayStation and mobile, and it makes a lot more sense on the mobile side of things. This is built as a mobile game first and then ported everywhere else. But I have friends who are wholeheartedly into it. They play it every day, every week. They have big stream sessions with lots of people in it. They have big play sessions with lots of people involved. It's obviously got a large and dedicated fan base, or it wouldn't have got multiple versions, multiple builds atop of what have you. So it's not for me, but I can honestly respect it from afar, because it's doing a wonderful job for people who do want to play it.
Absolutely. It's kind of cheapened because it was such a Zelda clone, but it has garnered such a audience. It's done more of the multiplayer immersion that Zelda couldn't reach. So I do think it has its place in the gaming world. And what up, David Wilson and Ray, the gaming cyborg? What's going on? Thanks for coming on by.
Good morning.
Yes, if you're catching this on the VOD, we come at you live Monday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that is whatever time it is in the UK.
3 p.m. UK time, that one.
3 p.m. So thanks for joining us there. So this expansion introduces some new bosses, which I thought were pretty cool. I wanted to get down. This is like a clockwork mech sort of duo boss situation. Thought that was interesting to add.
I honestly just saw like Aegislash and stuff from Pokemon when I saw those bosses originally. I was like, they're just ripping off Pokemon now, but also that's kind of cool. Like, go for it. they do look good. Yeah. Great artwork.
Great artwork. I like the design. That clockwork mech has always been kind of a cool sort of time meets mech. I don't know. It's a cool concept for sure. Yeah. They had a new underwater and underworld expansion. So there's an under sewers. I think they were talking about. They're being added to, and they're also talking about new characters you can add to your group, and additions they made in the underwater swimming. So some upgrades you can see there in the game. Pretty cool. I think this has a massive player base, and they'll just keep updating it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the character style, although recently I found out that they make these guys look... Oh, let's share this. They make the characters look like cats, and that's the whole animation. And now every time I see them, all I see is a cat.
Yeah, I can see that one. It's Yeah, I can see that. It does make sense.
But it's a lot of fun. And I'm glad it's still getting updated. Cool stuff.
Especially for a free game as well. I think that's something we've really got to remember with the likes of Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and a lot of these other MiHoYo games. You can play all of it, all of the content, completely free of charge. It might take you a little bit longer to get some of the really good stuff, but you can play it all for free.
Now, this next story, I am absolutely... I am shocked. I didn't see this coming. This is something that I think PlayStation people have to take a step back and say, wow, well done. we now have Baldur's Gate 3 moving to the #1 best-selling pre-order on the PSN. I mean, I'm absolutely shocked how that's beating out Spider-Man 2 in pre-orders.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, beating out Madden. Absolutely happy for this Alarian Studios. Happy that, they got such an IP and they've raised it to this pinnacle location that it's having right now. It's really having a day in the sun. I mean, it started pre-early access. I felt like it didn't have nearly as much attention as it did at this point in time, and now it's having a great celebration. I mean, this literally fell into PlayStation's lap when they were sort of down and out, and not down and out, but when they had Starfield taken from them in an acquisition, and then Baldur's Gate just kind of falls into their lap and says, "Hey, this is going to be a console exclusive." I mean,
it's not a console exclusive, though, and we do have to put that one out there. The only reason it is for now is Xbox's whole ethos that everything has to run exactly the same on the Series X and the Series S. Now, with the Series S being that much less powerful than the X, Larian are struggling to get split-screen co-op running on the Series S, which is why they can't release it on Xbox at the moment. They would love to put this game on Series X the same day it goes out on PlayStation 5. Larian have said that multiple times. But because Microsoft have this ethos, you've got to launch it on all of the consoles, it does run a risk of remaining a PlayStation console exclusive for now, until maybe there's a more powerful Nintendo console, simply because of that Xbox ethos. So yeah, it is great for PlayStation having lost Starfield to Microsoft, but Microsoft's own policies stopping Baldur's Gate launching upon it. It's the scales have balanced a little bit with this one.
And that, yeah. But I mean, there is also like this small thought in me that said they were sitting in a boardroom and Xbox was like, sure, it can come to Xbox, but it's going to Game Pass. And Larian Studios was like, we don't want to put it on Game Pass. We don't want it to be part of a subscription.
It could also be that, yeah.
And then deal with it. Like, that's the way it's going to be. So Larian's like, fine, we'll put it on PlayStation, and then a year later, it'll come to Game Pass. And then not only are they dipping on Steam and that money, they're dipping on PlayStation and that console stuff. And I could see in a year when the expansion comes out, because I'm sure they're doing an expansion with the amount of success they're seeing here. And it was previously announced, I believe SPG brought it up in passing, Shadow of the Bone or something like that. Baldur's Gate 3 expansion. It's even on YouTube when you click it up and you search the game to put it under your heading. The DLC comes out. But yeah, I think maybe that's what happened, and now they're sort of kicking themselves. But I don't know what happened in the business room. It could be the Series X and S, right? That's really
X is the powerful one. S is the non-powerful one.
Right, the 2K, less RAM, mostly 1080p.
It's lesser on all fronts, and I think this is part of the conversation around this generation of consoles. So not just this generation of the Xbox side of it, but this side of it as well, the PlayStation side of it. We're getting what people are calling a very disappointing generation, because there is this one little less powerful console, which is deemed a next-gen bit of hardware, despite there being a bit of kit from the last gen from the same manufacturer that can do more than it. And there's this rule that you have to release on that as well as its bigger brother within that ecosystem. So yeah, it can be holding everything back. We can be getting lesser games on this gen, especially like the multi-platform games, because of that little brilliant for the consumer console, but not so good for the game developers and game releasing scenarios, as we're seeing with Baldur's Gate. It's an interesting scenario. And
the man who has insight into it, this is where I've been gathering all my PG-3 information here. I think Larian is in a triple dipping. If the game ran on Stadia, it would have ran fine. The Series S, they are holding it out for that Game Pass money after selling millions of copies. Exactly.
I don't think so. I don't think so. The Series S is... It's got physical limitations. It's got hardware limitations. This is what SPG and PC gamers are always on about with consoles. There are limitations to them. And it is the limitation of that piece of hardware that's causing the issue. Stadia didn't have that. Stadia was built on server blades. You could access 10 of them at once if you so fancied. No game ever needed to because you were getting the multi-platform releases. So they had to run on these teeny tiny bits of kit that sat under people's TVs. But yeah, the whole triple dip is a brilliant business move, and if it does go to Game Pass eventually, it can run via cloud on the Series S in countries that do that. But again, you still face that same problem that it won't run on Series S in the countries that don't have cloud gaming, unless they figure out how to do the split screen multiplayer, which Larian are not willing to cut from the game because it is so core to the experience.
Could be. We, however, are not sitting in those rooms. I think each point is definitely valid. It could definitely be this S holding back. Some would argue that why don't they just, release it at 720, 30 FPS on the S? But perhaps Larian Studios doesn't want to take that cut in quality. There could be many things happening.
They've literally said these exact words, that they're not going to cut the co-op multiplayer, they're not going to lower the graphical fidelity and quality. The game director has said this in conversations in the last week. He's like, we can't launch it on Xbox because of the limitations of the S, and it's all down to that split screen co-op, which we're not cutting because it's so core to the experience. I'm inclined to believe what the game director is saying in these ones.
For sure. And I always, as much as I believe, I'm like 5% of me is like, this is PR and there's real secrets happening behind the board. But we never
stop
know.
With the conspiracies, man. It's not worth your time or effort.
You're out there, Dorgon.
We're in a ginormous universe. That's a dead certain, of course. But
no, the US admitted to it. We have it now.
But as Professor Brian Cox, one of the premier minds upon the planet, said, it's an exceptional claim without exceptional evidence at this point. Until exceptional evidence is produced, we shall continue looking after our own on this planet first and foremost.
Well said, good sir. I want to see the evidence. Now. Breaking news. I didn't have this on the show notes, but SPG popped it into chat. Red Dead Redemption comes to Switch and PS4. However, the remaster is MIA. This was published 12 minutes ago. We have an announcement August 17th. It's jumping to PS4 and Switch, but this is an odd move because it's not remastered. It's just a port. And we don't have a next-gen upgrade for PS5, Xbox X and S, and PC. I'm a little confused by this.
It makes a lot of sense from the PlayStation perspective, because right now, if you've only ever been a PlayStation gamer, Red Dead Redemption is locked on the PlayStation 3. It was a PlayStation 3 release, and because of the unique structure of the cell processor on the PlayStation 3, you can't take one of those discs, stick it in a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5, and play that game natively. So Red Dead Redemption is locked on that PlayStation 3 system. People like yourself, who don't own a PlayStation 3, don't own a PlayStation 4, only own a PlayStation 5, you have no way of playing this exceptional title on your current hardware in your hands. Whether that be the Switch, whether that be the PlayStation 4 or 5, like more current hardware, it can't be played on. It's a bit easier over on the Xbox side because they've kept that same architecture from basically the original console all the way through to now. So there is a lot of backwards compatibility, but this makes a lot of sense. It was never on Nintendo hardware. It's locked on PlayStation 3 hardware. Give it a port, give it a little bit of polish, a little bit of a makeover, and allow a generation of people who've never been able to experience it before experience it in its original glory, just on more modern hardware. I can understand this from Rockstar's perspective. It's taking them so long to get games out of the door at the moment. They've released, 2 in 12 years sort of thing. So something like this, it's a nice, easy, get out the door, give people the game, the Undead Nightmare DLC, and then they can play it now.
DLC? How good was that DLC? I got chills. I may get it just for that DLC. Damn.
I really enjoyed Undead Nightmare, yeah.
That was a real good. I think that actually won awards, if I'm not mistaken, for best
it did,
DLC
yeah,
of the year. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with it, basically everyone in the town becomes zombies, and the entire landscape just becomes a survival situation. And it's just absolutely so much fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love Red Dead Redemption. I will play that every day over Red Dead Redemption 2. I could not get into 2. I much preferred the original. John Marsden is just a great character. The story is exceptional. The mechanics hold up even now. So yeah, I would be looking forward to being able to play that again on more modern hardware. I can still play it on the PlayStation 3 because I have the PlayStation 3 and my original copy. But there's a lot of people who don't have that. So yeah, give us this game on more modern hardware.
It's a little curious, we didn't get sort of that up to the PS5, that next gen sort of polish to it. It seems to be just a straight port, maybe a little bit of polish here and there. But I think we were all kind of hoping for that remaster, that nice looking Red Dead experience, but at the same time we shouldn't have expected anything else because they literally just did the same thing with Grand Theft Auto, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they did, yeah. I think this is a lesson. Yeah, it's a lesson to us, the consumer, to not believe everything you hear on the internet. There are so many articles that run off a rumor made by a single person. That's where this whole, they're remaking Red Dead Redemption came from. If he's got that early in development, you're 5 years away minimum from seeing that game. But with Rockstar, you're probably 8 years away from seeing the remade game come out, in which case it's going to be on the next generation of consoles, and it won't even make the PlayStation 5 era. It'll be PlayStation 6 that you're playing that one on. And one person saying, oh yeah, they're remaking the game, that's not enough evidence for the whole industry to get so bent out of shape for and get so excited for, that there's 1,000 articles, all of this hype, and then disappointment when the announcement is you're going to get to play the game on more modern hardware. Until a company tells you exactly what's going on, believe nothing, or take it all with a massive mountain of salt, because how many times have we been let down recently by hearing one thing pre-launch or pre-announcement and then getting something else at the actual announcement? Temper your expectations, folks. This is kind of on you.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Let's wait for the official announcements, because that's really where the information comes from. But we were out there trying. I remember trying to crack the story on new Stadia things, trying to investigate here and there.
You can muse, you can rumor mill, you can go through it all.
The expectations.
Temper.
Yeah. The playmaker is here. # make plays. It's Ron Slusher. Man,
I saw that Final Fantasy 16 play, Ron. That was chef's kiss. Beautiful timing. I loved watching that clip.
What's up? And then we have Rouster talking about the Series X. It's rare, these kind of issues. 1080p would be fine for me. Exactly, just notch it down. But sometimes the studios are like, I don't want my piece of art played at nothing less than 2K. Who knows?
Fair enough.
Who knows what's happening on that end, but they're saying they can't get it going on the S. Then we'll wait to hear until they have another announcement. It may coincide with a year later on the Game Pass, but we'll see. And then we have the Cowboy coming on in. Thanks for stopping on by. Hey, no worries, we're always here 10 a.m. Monday talking PlayStation. Thanks for stopping on by. And the game could have acted as SPG is really loving it. He's saying the game could have ended at Act 2, and I would have loved it. Still got half the game left. And he's been nothing but playing that game, so it's been absolutely ridiculous. And speaking of the influence of one person, we have a certain PlayStation giveaway that caused a little bit of mayhem. So
How?
I just want to state the power of PlayStation is absolutely ridiculous. Look at this madness in the middle of New York City based off of one. Look at that car. One freaking guy on YouTube says, hey, I'm going to be giving away a PS5 and gift certificates. And pandemonium ensued. Look, people are hanging on that car.
Who thought this was a good idea? Who in the organisation of this event thought, oh yeah, let's just go to the middle of a big city with no police escort and try and give away one of the most sought after bits of tech on the planet, and it'll all go hunky-dory. Who thought this was a good idea to do in person?
To 7 million followers, 20 million totaling across all platforms. Just absolute, it looks like a zombie apocalypse, to be honest, and this guy's got the cure. Like, holy crap. Apparently I heard that one PlayStation 5 was given away, but I don't know how that went for that person. Imagine trying to take that PlayStation 5 out of that crowd.
Well, I was reading that there were over 170 people injured to the point of needing emergency care, and 66 people arrested. I love PlayStation. It's not worth your health or criminal record. Trust me. It's not. I understand some of this is wanting to see the person, the YouTuber, Twitch streamer, that like this is an individual that you have a connection with and you want to see them and maybe talk to them and something. I understand turning up for that sort of thing, but there's convention spaces for that. Like there's places set up for this. I understand this person wanting to do maybe a meet and greet and a giveaway at the meet and greet, but you can organize these a lot better. People in the Destiny community, for example, like Datto, have hired out bars in London, sold 200 tickets, and okay, it's a first come, first served. You might not be lucky enough, and then you meet up at that bar. There's ways of doing this without shutting down a city. Like this was just poor thought process from the top down. His idea, put then to his organizational team, because it was a PR team that organized the entire thing. No one thought this through. No one had a contingency plan, and no one even contemplated the idea. I don't understand how, that this could go horribly wrong. It was just poor organization start to finish. Great idea, poor in everything else.
I mean, I can't agree with you more. I feel like you're giving more credit than is due in terms of him having a team behind him to organize this, because it doesn't seem like he had any organization whatsoever. Saying he's excited with a riot.
Got the name in the article I was reading, but I think I closed the article.
Kai Sinet,
and then he did have a PR team that he hired for this event, and obviously, it's not good advertisements for them either. I don't think they're going to get much more business.
I mean, at the same time, I mean, he got so many people to show up like that. I mean, that's still, I mean, marketing companies have got to take a second look at that and be like, well, maybe we should.
That is the individual, though. That's the person, isn't it? It'd be like if Ninja showed up somewhere and said, hey, meet me here for free giveaways. How many millions of followers does he have? How many people would show up because of the wealth that he could put into his giveaways? The man can drop 5 million and not notice it, for example. Like, that's the individual, that's him, that's Kai. That's nothing to do with this PR company. Like, I think their days are very much numbered after this debacle.
Yeah. Crazy amount of power, though. It's get so many people showing up. Absolutely crazy. What's up, Mr. Reaver the Beaver? Thanks for coming on by. I have an article from PlayStation Lifestyle, but I didn't want to jump too much into it because of all the ads, and it doesn't like my computer. We were talking about this before. Anytime you try to look up freaking news stories, it's like you got an ad on the top, you got a video playing in the bottom, you got an ad running across the screen. Anyways,
I have to get news articles on my tablet or my work computer now, because on my phone, because it's meant to be nice and easily readable on a phone, because you do it whilst you're commuting or something, don't you? I can't read the article because I've got about that much space in the middle of the screen to read in. Everything else is adverts.
It's a little crazy, but at the same time, it's the only way we got. I mean, there's the more exclusive websites that give you the better stuff, but even they have ads too. I don't know how this is going to change. Hopefully soon, but for now, that's how we live. PlayStation Lifestyle says Final Fantasy 16 launches about 13% of all PlayStation users, and they're estimating it to go at about 5 million copies sold, rising from that 3 million number that we heard about a month ago. So that can be correlated to what is PlayStation users. Is that as many consoles are sold, or how is that working? But the estimate is that they have, or the words are that they are impressed with the sales. We haven't had another number since the 3 million, but I could definitely see it going northern or around this number here. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, 5 million is not out of the realms whilst it's only on PlayStation. Don't forget, Final Fantasy 16 is going to get a PC release, hopefully later this year, maybe early 2024. That was announced alongside the PlayStation release. I think it's done really well for itself, considering it's a very different angle of Final Fantasy titles. It's brought in some new fans. Okay, it may have annoyed some older fans, but it's doing a bit of a job for Square Enix and the Final Fantasy team, Creative Business Unit 3, for example. 5 million would be great for them. It's falling within their estimates of sales. There are news articles doing the rounds today saying, oh, it's missed its sales target. It hasn't. It's well within what Square Enix expected Final Fantasy 16 to sell. It's just not hit that upper echelon that they thought it could do if everything went right, if all of the winds blew in the same direction. And I think it would have sold that if it had launched on PC at the same time as PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that would have been a good shout. However, we did hear comments from the dev team saying that the reason why they were able to create a game so quickly along that timeline was actually due to the fact that they were just developing for one console.
Yes,
and they
it does help.
And it sped up the timeline significantly. So hurry up and just create the Playbox Switch. All right, I don't care. Just and make the game streamlined and come out faster. I'm not too judgy here. I think it should really be software that is king, to be honest, because software is where we get the experiences.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Matt, so I did a little research here. Moving on to the next one. Matt Piscatelli is an executive director in video game industry analysis at Circana, which is formerly of Activision Warner Games Brothers. So basically, he was talking about the momentum that we're seeing subscriptions and premium releases and sort of them versus each other. And the momentum is moving away from subscriptions and towards premium releases. Now, I'm not just saying this because I think it's the way to go and better for people in the gaming industry, but this is what the numbers are showing us. The growth of video game subscription spending has stalled. According to Circana's Gaming Marketing Dynamics reporting, April 2023 sub spending in the US was only 2% higher in April of 2022. Finding new subscriptions beyond the console ownership base has proven very difficult thus far. And so we're seeing that sort of need to continue getting subscriptions sort of fall by the wayside. People are sort of dropping this. I think it's great for developers. Is this kind of what you've been expecting to see out of the numbers, that the subscription model is not really growing in the gaming community?
100%, yeah. It's one of those. Gaming, whilst it is the biggest single entertainment market on the planet, it brings in more money per year than television, movies, music, and podcasts combined. It's still small in terms of the actual player base outside of mobile, because your mobile's got like 2 billion players per day. But the more sort of AAA that we're talking about, these premium experiences, if we judge it on sales of last generation, we're looking at around about 170 console gamers worldwide. And that's across Nintendo Switch, Xbox One consoles, and PlayStation 4 consoles. So 170 million people. If you consider that all of them need to play online, need to have a subscription service, you've already got 170 million people with these gaming subscriptions. What you're trying to do with these subscriptions is pull people from another platform. It's what Phil Spencer from Xbox has spoken about when he said Starfield can't be an 11 out of 10 and convince someone to sell their PlayStation 5, for example. And he's right. People are ingratiated. They are ingrained in these ecosystems. There is no way that Starfield could make me personally go out and buy an Xbox Series X, but that's more because it would be the only experience on that, and it's not worth £450 to me for a single game. And it's going to be the same for people over on Xbox. God of War is not going to be worth £450 to them. They're not going to spend that on a single title. It's about the ecosystem. It's about what's out there. And these people have these services already because they need them to play online. And for a couple of quid, couple of dollars extra, they can get a few games involved as well. You've already tapped that market back in the sort of 360 PS3 era. So you're not going to see those subscription services grow in this console generation. You're not going to see those subscription services grow for the people on PC. Why does a PC player need Game Pass Ultimate or PS Plus Premium? Because they can just wait for a sale on PC games and pick up something like Spiderman Remastered for $3. And it's a phenomenal experience for $40, let alone $3. So I see why they're not growing. The people that you're trying to sell them to already have them. And why do I need to buy a new fridge when I've got one that works perfectly well? Why do I need to buy a new phone when I've got one that works perfectly well? The ethos is exactly the same. Why do I need a new gaming subscription when the one that I've got works perfectly well for me? And yours won't work with my hardware, sort of thing. So I 100% understand the stall. I 100% understand developers wanting to go back to the premium releases, these big AAAs that come with a premium price tag. But they've got to start delivering on these as well. We can't have more Redfalls. We can't have more Jedi Fallen Order. We can't have games releasing that don't work properly. You can't have characters falling through the map. You can't have checkpoints disappearing, characters getting deleted, save games not saving. You can't have these sort of issues in a premium price tag experience. And hopefully we start to see this shift, and it might mean we wait a little bit longer for a couple of titles. But if the experience is better overall for that, I'm willing. Just set up a few additional studios in the meantime so that we can fill in the gaps.
Well, I think From Software has really hit their stride. We have the release of Armored Core around the corner, in addition to Shadow of the Erd Tree coming up, I assume, in the following year as a DLC. And then they're talking about even extending Elden Ring past Shadow of the Erd Tree. So what we need to see is more of a consistent flow of games. Yes, they may take longer to make, but plan for that. The fact that PlayStation is releasing one studio exclusive this year is... I mean, what was happening in the boardroom 5 years ago? They should be staggering it. There should be 4 exclusives every year, 1 per quarter. I don't know.
that is the aim of PlayStation. That's what they want to do moving forward. And I don't know how long that's been on the table, but we've also had that in previous years. Like, I look back at, say, 2020, and when I was trying to come up with what my game of the year was for 2020, 3 of the 5 options on the table were from PlayStation Studios. Yeah. There were a couple that I hadn't played from PlayStation Studios because I hadn't got the money to buy that many games, sort of thing. So yeah, we do seem to be lacking in actual quantity and quality of titles. But personally, I feel like the death of subscription services could really help us regain some of that.
I'm not a huge subscribe for games. Not since Stadia left me. All right, that's called PTSD. That relationship went sour, and now I'm sour on all subscriptions. I'm sorry out there. But yeah, I also want to attribute, and I hate to do this, but 5 years ago, I think some of the factors that we're dealing with are we're still recovering from COVID, work from home, and nobody's work lifestyle and games that are coming from that era. In addition, I think there was a lot of things hidden from the ABK deal to put on a certain face for dealings with certain organizations and hiding some releases. So yeah. I think once all this gets out of the way, hopefully next year we'll have some new showcases that really get back into competition mode and show us something that's really great.
Oh yeah, give me a showcase from anybody, not just PlayStation, from anybody that I can get excited about, please, because I've kind of forgot what happened in every showcase this year thus far. And I'm not one of those people who forgets things easily, so it tells you how bad they were.
Well, here is moving on to the next story. We have some announcements coming out of the PlayStation earbuds. So from the FCC's filings, we can see that the PlayStation earbuds will have active noise cancellation, as well as a Bluetooth receiver that will also be compatible with PC, hopefully your phone, that means. So they'll be more versatile than simply just using with your PlayStation 5. And people are hoping, fingers crossed, and like I said, rumor mill, so you want to wait for the official announcements, that this will unlock audio on the PS5 for Bluetooth. Having that ability, previously they've stated, doesn't work the greatest. They're saying that it sort of lags stuff up. I'm just hoping that I can use my Bluetooth headset with my PS5. That would be awesome. At this point, you cannot. But yeah, some cool stuff. We're hearing the rumors. We don't have a price, but it's coming around the corner. I assume we're going to see it at the same time as we see the ever impressive Q.
Yeah, I imagine so. I have the Pulse 3D headset, the actual PlayStation 3D audio one, and that comes with a dongle.
Yeah.
Yes. That one. I just have the white version of it, yeah.
Mine would get dirty.
That comes with a dongle, and the dongle... That's why you clean these things after you use them, man. You don't want to see my PS5. It's not hard.
You would get angry if you saw my PS5.
Would I cringe badly? Yes, you would. For example, these are my actual earbuds. I've had these for about 3-4 years now. They are still very white. Like, clean your tech for Pete's sake, folks, but I love earbuds because they take up a lot less space. The thing for me is VR. Like, the VR at the moment is I've got a pair of these wired earphones that just attach into the back of the VR headset. If I could get wireless earbuds that I could have a pair, my partner could have a pair, and we just plug our own in when we're playing games, that would be a massive bonus and improvement to our quality of life. Because right now we are swapping 3.5mm jacks and headsets every time each one of us wants to play. I suffer from surfer's ear, which is like a bacterial growth infection, which comes back whenever it rains. Spending that many years as I did teaching windsurfing and sailing, it was inevitable sort of thing. But it means I don't want anybody else taking deep in-ear earphones that I've used and putting them on themselves, sort of thing. So I do tend to use like the Pulse with the VR headset, but
Yeah.
it's bulky, it's heavy, it's also very, very warm
Right.
when you're ducking and weaving and dodging and fighting and all that sort of stuff. So to have those earbuds would be a big improvement to the VR lifestyle, and I think that may be what they are aiming for, the VR lifestyle. They are coming with Bluetooth connectivity, so they can connect to your phone completely wirelessly. The dongle is just going to be the same as the Pulse 3D dongle, so you can easily plug it into a USB port on your PC, on your laptop, whatever you want. I think they could be really good as long as they don't break that $200 mark, because the moment they break that, you're then looking at the premium Apple and Samsung and Bose and Sennheiser earbuds, which are all, unless these sound like the XM5 Sony audiophile earbuds, I don't think that price could be justified.
I just hope they stay in my ears, man. I have these Google Pixel buds. These things fall out of my ear like crazy. I have to wear a freaking headband just to keep them.
Different size wingtip, man.
Nothing works. I don't know. My ears are weird sizes, I guess.
You and your strange Canadian ears.
It's like it's not built for me. What's up, FCAT in the house?
It's why I use these ones. I don't know if you can see the shape of it, but it's got this little wingtip at the top, and it just sits right in this bit here perfectly. My partner's got a pair of the Pixel Buds because she bought the Pixel 6 and got them free with it. She doesn't like the deep in-ear ones though, but they've got, it's like just a silicon, almost a spring, I suppose you'd say. But I think they're the ones before yours, a previous design, and they fit people's ears really well. I don't like earbuds that don't come with wingtips because they just fall out. I've got multiple pairs just sitting in a drawer doing nothing because they came like free with phones and tablets and stuff.
They should make third-party wingtips because I literally tried to look for those and I could not find third-party wingtips.
There is a market. There's a lot of people who search for them, so I think it would be a good shout, yeah.
What's up, Miss Phoenix?
But these look like they've got plastic wingtips, maybe, possibly. Question mark.
What are your ears gonna look like with those things? They're branded. I think it's a unique design. I just don't know how it's gonna look. Probably pretty cool.
Hey, I'm willing to give them a try. Sony, PlayStation, if you're listening to this, send Rudigs and I a pair, and let's see if they fit the weirdest ears on the planet.
What's up, Miss Phoenix? Oh, so she's waving. You're the dragon, and I'm the taco.
Hell yeah! She's got emojis for everybody in chat. Were you not aware of this?
My Apple AirPods aren't even able to stay in my ears, says Reva the Beaver. I actually like the. I used to have the Apple AirPods, and they worked well, but I switched over to the Google Universe.
I've had the Huawei ones before, basically a rip-off of the Apple ones, but you know, as Huawei always do, they take the Apple idea and make it better. They were really good, none of the silicon tips, but slightly longer head on them. And I think that's a lot of people's problems because it's not quite as long a head on the Apple ones. They just sort of go, bloop, just give up partway through the day. Whereas that longer head, it goes a little bit deeper into your ear and doesn't create a seal like your deep in ear ones do, but it just holds the ear a bit better. I like that the mic is down towards your mouth as well, not like just sitting up here in your ears, sounding like you're in an echo chamber or something when you're talking to someone.
Yeah. It's not one size fits all, and I hope they have some good ergonomics when it comes to these earbuds. It doesn't look like you'll be able to get...
I hope they've got some good battery life as well.
Don't talk to me about battery life.
That's going to be a big one. Battery life matters on these sort of things for gaming. Like, it's not so bad for, say, music, because you were listening at, an hour, maybe two at a time, or 2-hour podcast, and then you put them back in your charging case to get them back up. But when you're gaming, you could be gaming for 6-7 hours at a time on occasion. I like that it's got a physical volume rocker on it in that shot there. So it's not like a tap your ear to or stroke your head to get your volume up or down sort of thing. There's a physical rocker, which I like. But yeah, like everything else, until we hear official things, there's a lot of concerning factors that we don't know.
FCAT. Rudigs needs a different kind of buds. Yes, sir, but they don't go in your ear. That's not how to get them into my head. It doesn't go through my ear.
Just throw them on an open flame, see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it. I think and I want the queue. You know, I did remote play for the first time this weekend. I wanted to sit outside, and I plugged in. I had to physically plug in my PlayStation controller into. Yeah, I know.
You want one?
I know that exists.
One of these.
But the queue is coming out, and I feel like I would be a queue adopter. But so I had it all set up. I had it on a stand. I had my controller, and I'm just feeding my Diablo addiction outside. It was nice. It worked great.
Yeah. Remote play, when it works, when it's going well, like my ISPs in this area, like both my mobile and broadband one, they've both fallen over in the last week. So I'm paying for gigabit broadband and getting about 20 meg at the moment. So how this show is even happening, I don't know. It's gone very wrong. And then the mobile one is like, oh, it's no problem. I've got 5G in my area that runs at like 140. No, that's running at 5 at the moment. Everything is broken. So yeah, remote play is not working great at the moment for me because there isn't enough internet for it.
Oh, I know. But I've really, as long as I've only experienced it using Wi-Fi in my same house, and in those experiences, it's been like gaming locally. It feels like Stadia, almost scary enough to say that I'm just loading up the game on my phone. It's all plugged in again. All I need is that silly freaking, what did they call it? The Google Claw to hold my phone in the controller. And then I'm right back to those days.
I've got those claws for the DualShock 4s. So, like, before Backbone came out and did this sort of thing, you could only use official PlayStation controllers with remote play. Unless you used a slightly less than legal variant of remote play, like Chiaki or PS Play. But like this thing now, like, it just makes life so easy. Just plug straight into the USB-C port. It makes your phone into a little switch. It works with PlayStation Remote Play, works with Xbox Cloud Gaming, works with GeForce Now, works with Android native games. Like this is probably my best controller at the moment for how versatile it is. But I've got those claws for previous devices. I had one for the Stadia device controller. I have got them for DualShock 4s and DualSenses. Depending what you want, sometimes it just works better to just have it above the controller. And they're dirt cheap as well, those clips. For hardware you've already got, just like a $6 edition, and you can start playing remotely anywhere in the world. It's just great. It's a nice, cheap option.
It is pretty nice. I would like it, but I don't know. I don't want to be too committed to gaming mobile, and that's why I stay away from the queue. You know, mentally, I like having it all in my setup, having it on my nice big screen. Like playing on the little screen was fine for like being outside, but like, damn, it's not the same experience.
Compared to my 55-inch 4K TV downstairs, no, not even slightly. But the fact it can do things like HDR on the phone, the fact it can stream my entire game library except the VR stuff, remote play is just great.
This is exactly what I did. Hopefully, that'll be able to happen with Zelda, because the Switch has a Bluetooth audio. I would just sit there, I have one in, and then when that died, switch out to the other one, and then they're charging in the case. I'm sure that is the go-to earbud strategy, for sure, after the wire went away.
Definitely, but I do also get what PlayStation are saying about the Bluetooth latency, because I do get it with my Switch, whether I'm using my earbuds, because these are connected to basically everything. They are so damn, but like these connect to my TV as well, these earbuds. Like they are, for an 80 quid pair of earbuds from 2019, they're fantastic. I highly recommend the Galaxy Buds Plus. Like they're not even the Pros. But yeah, I find with Switch that I get Bluetooth audio lag. It's not massive, but it's enough to be jarring. But when I'm playing games like Zelda, when I'm playing games like Pokemon, when I'm playing games like Mario, that's not that impactful. When I'm playing games like Destiny 2, I want that audio to be there at that moment because it tells me what I need to do in game so that the rest of my team doesn't fail. And I know that the Bluetooth chip inside the PlayStation 5 is not a Bluetooth 6 chip. So we're talking Bluetooth 5 at best, which is congested airwaves completely. So it could be problematic, but it would be great to connect them to your phone as well and just use the dongle when you're gaming. An individual 2.4 gigahertz dongle, it makes sense for gaming.
Yeah, but give me more ports. I'm running out of ports, Dorgon. Do you not run out of ports?
I have a USB-C port adapter, so I've got like 20 USB ports.
Don't you just feel
all Thunderbolt speed
to me, Dorgon? I can't be putting in 20.
Darling, I am naughty.
Oh, right on. That looks awesome, Dorgon. You got it for free. That's what okay. So she's talking about the PS handheld. That's what it should look like, not that weird leaked version.
Yes, beautiful thing.
Yes, that's what it.
The fact it fits in my cameras now on this new tablet as well is like that's useful.
I feel like it's still missing
the wide angle lens is so
wings,
helpful,
right? The big wings. It doesn't have the big wings.
It doesn't have the big wings, no, but it is shaped
it has
ergonomically.
That nice bit at the end for your palm.
It's not a flat slab like the Switch, or the Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's what you need. What's up, Dino Hunter? Thanks for coming by. Hope you're doing well.
Great game, Dino Hunter. Great game.
Is Dino Hunter in a game?
They need to bring Dino Hunter, Turok, and Jurassic Park back. They were great games on the PlayStation 1 era.
Primal.
Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis as well. Dino Hunter, Dino Crisis, Turok.
There was this game that was rumored to come out on Stadia a while ago. I think they ended up going with PlayStation 5 as well. It was going to be this big extinction or extract, something like that. And it was this Dino World first-person shooter. I'm going to do more research into that and see where those guys are at. Yeah,
because it's sounding like you're saying Exo Primal, but I don't think that's what it was.
Like Extinction. It was from a small group. I'll have to look at it. Cowboy's saying, my issue with PlayStation Remote Play is when I stream from OBS on my PC, I always get some buzzing feedback sound. I checked everything, but I don't know what is making that happen.
Sounds like a you issue, that one, Cowboy.
Yeah, I have...
it's your old man ears, mate.
I have some settings on my OBS that I use for the PlayStation Remote Play. Things like turning on the compressor, some different settings I change with the levels, but I haven't experienced it. I use Remote Play often with OBS. Been doing a lot of streams that way. And then Purple, let's go, just coming in. Thanks for coming by, Purple. Hope you're doing well.
Always good to see you, Purple.
And FCat, I just got the PS5 beta sound. Oh, I just got the PS5 beta and muted the beep sound. When it starts,
I haven't muted it. I've knocked it down 2 levels.
Turn it off
when it starts up. You can turn it off. You can turn it down. I've turned it down. I like knowing that it's actually turned on personally, because there's many times I've pressed the button and nothing's happened. So I like to know that it's turned the console on, but I don't want it deafening me every single time. So yeah, that is one of the best quality of life improvements. That and 8 terabyte SSDs that can go in there. Like, yeah, bring it.
Oh, so his name is not after the game. His name is Hunter, and he just likes dinos. That's what I'm reading. Either way, what up, Dino Hunter? Hope you're doing awesome. I'm
lovely to have you here, Dino Hunter.
I want to get rid of the
always
beep.
A pleasure.
I want the beep to be gone. So...
Rudix, we can't trust a word you say. You're the man who says that mouse and keyboard should never be an input for gaming.
It should never be an input for gaming. Get rid of mouse and keyboard. It's a work tool. This is not a gaming device. Like, what are you... that should be illegal.
Monkey Island, Broken Sword, Baldur's Gate. So much better with mouse and keyboard.
Baldur's Gate will have controller support. No reason for mouse and keyboard messing around with that. T is not an action button. T is a T. All right, now you can't use YASD to move around. That's so inorganic. Like holding the controller, that's like a continuation of your mind and soul into the gaming experience. We didn't get Super NES and Atari with a keyboard and mouse. No, they came with gamepad.
Yeah, we did. We did get Atari with a keyboard and mouse.
And I said the wrong thing. We did. Atari came with the freaking Pong thing, the paddle, right?
And a keyboard, yes.
Keyboard. Let me see that.
Don't forget the Commodore 64. That was a keyboard with game slot.
All right, well then I digress. Nintendo never gave you a mouse and keyboard. But let's move on to some more PlayStation stuff, because we are the Super PlayStation Pros.
We got off track there a bit, yeah.
And here is the one thing, the moral of the episode is kind of don't trust the rumors, wait for the official announcement. That being said, PlayStation 5 Pro rumor. Here is a leak from apparently a well-known reputable leaker over at WCCF Tech, and what we're seeing is something called a N4P and a 4nm processor node. They are saying this is likely to be used in the PS5 Pro, and those sort of numbers signify a doubling of performance of the PS5 Pro to the base model. And that's kind of what we're hearing. Whether or not that's true or not, that's to be said. Or
I would, if this is true, I would hesitate to call this a pro console, because the difference between N3P, N4P, and 3nm and 4nm is absolutely minimal. Basically, what I'm seeing here is they're taking processes, making them more efficient, and this is going to be the PlayStation 5 Slim, not the Pro. If you're coming out with a Pro console halfway through a console life generation, it needs to be much more powerful, like the PlayStation 4 Pro was over the PlayStation 4. That gave us 4K over 1080p. That gave us 60 frames per second over 30. That gave us 1080p streaming and recording rather than 720, and so on and so forth. So the differences between these makeups, like if you take a 4nm processor in a phone and a 3nm processor in a phone, the power difference between them, what they're capable of doing, their efficiencies, it's so minimal, it makes zero difference. And in a much bigger, much more power intensive, hungry item like a PlayStation 5, I think this is just efficiency for a slim model. That this doesn't sound like a pro console.
Well said. I'm glad that you were able to shed some light, because obviously, the news around this is, oh my gosh, this will give us 8K. This will give us, 120 FPS. This will give us all of the bells and whistles. It'll be double the PS5 speed. But you're saying this is more suggesting of a slimmer model, that it's not going to be the whip.
This to me would say, yeah, the slim model that they've announced in the court documents. Just because it even says it here in the article where you've scrolled to, like, according to the leaker, there isn't much difference with the N3 3nm process in terms of power and performance. So a 4nm process node isn't going to impact the console's power in any significant way. It might allow a more consistent 60 or 120, because the console can currently do both 60 frames and 120 frames if you've got the right television for it. And the console can do 8K if there's ever a software update push to it. It'll probably be 8K at 24 frames per second. I doubt it's got the power to do any more than that, but it just needs a software update to unlock that. Nothing that they're announcing here is saying it's going to do any more than what the current one is. It might just be more stable, which will be a positive, but it's not making it pro over what we already have.
So, the moral of today's show is wait for the official announcements, because I got sucked into this and hearing the talking heads being like, this is going to be double the performance, This is going to be the next new Diggity. Be sure to get your hands on it when it gets released. But no, we're hearing that these fancy acronyms are really more suggesting towards a slimmer model and won't really affect the performance on the aspect of maybe some people like to stir up the rumor mill. But cool stuff. Thanks for shedding some light on that situation.
It's what I'm here for.
Now to close
That
out
you know.
the show, we're going to talk quickly through some 2 stories we have from the blog. I did get into some Dreams today just to be able to try it out. I did that whole tutorial where you're the little thing and you went around, and then I got into some games. I played some Super Mario. I played Call of Duty with the Simpsons skin with zombies on. So there's some fun stuff for sure being created in there. It really gives you that vibe of Crata, but it's just had so much more time to mature. How Dreams was updated by a childhood spent playing with trains, live today.
Indeed. Take care, Dino Hunter. Thank you for popping in, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you can always catch up on the VOD afterwards, mate.
Take care, dude. Thanks for everything Dorgon said. And thanks for the kind words. So this article is just sort of saying, hey, come over, try Dreams. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this. I got super pumped for Dreams, looking through all the catalog, but apparently the servers for Dreams are coming to an end soon, unfortunately. So if you have access...
The servers are not, no. The servers themselves will remain up for at least 10 years. This is what Media Molecule have said. It is active development upon the game. So this Tren update that was launched alongside Dreams being added to PlayStation Plus was Media Molecule's last hurrah for it. So this childhood spent playing with wooden trains, they've turned it into this fantastic puzzle racer thing. I'm really enjoying my time with Tren inside Dreams. But this was their last hurrah, so they're not going to be doing any more active development upon it. Not going to be adding new assets, not going to be adding new games or anything like that. But the servers themselves, so whatever you create as an individual, what other people have created as individuals, they are going to stick around for at least 10 more years. So you've got plenty of time to enjoy this game and this community and everything that people are putting out into the world.
Yeah, Ron. Nice drop there.
Well played, Ron. Well played.
Dreams will be called Nightmares, and it is a Xbox exclusive. Hilarious. Well said. And purple, it looks fine. What are you talking about? Oh my goodness. You can get different plates for it. Look at how nice that Spider-Man plate is.
I've got the Spider-Man plates coming, yep. You can get smaller plates. There's a guy here on YouTube called Spawnwave who has some D-brand plates for it, which I'm considering because it has a open fan vent in it for better cooling of the PlayStation.
I was just talking about this last night. Should I get this?
But they don't extend. The plates do not extend beyond the curvature of the console, so it takes a lot of size out of it. The reason that those plates stick up so far is airflow. It's basically an aerodynamic effect, Formula 1 style, so it increases the rate that the air flows in through the top of the console to cool the innards, cool the processors and what have you. But you can, of course, change the look of your console by just changing these plates. They are dead easy to pop off. 2 seconds to take one off and put another one on. You can change the look dead easy. Look at that. Cuts the corners off, makes it look that little bit better, a little bit nicer, then adds the vent.
Vents. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I need.
So you can change the look of it, and they're pretty inexpensive. I believe the dark plates are about £40 here in the UK, so that would be what, $80-90 for you, Rudigs, in
yeah.
Canadian land?
Yeah, it would be. Ooh, and they have light strips. Ooh, how nice would it be to have those light strips? But get rid of the beep. Damn, I want that beta.
That's in the latest update. The latest
Oh, and
update,
you can
that one.
even change
Look at all the
your
colours
color.
available to you. You want a bright
Oh
orange?
my
You want a
goodness.
purple one for purple haze?
Atomic purple. Ooh, that's nice.
That is your
Oh,
console
look
right
at
there,
that
Perp.
purple console.
Join us on the dark side with your dark
Wow,
plates.
that is funky with the Cosmos. Oh, wow, that looks nice. Or ooh, I'd like probably the purple and green lights. Yeah.
It does look good, yeah. But yeah, you could go full on
so you
brand
got-
with this, Perp, if you wanted. Like, full on brand.
I probably wouldn't do the middle skin, but it looks like $59. Oh no, $80 for the total. Yeah.
Miss Phoenix says she likes the clear. Takes her back to the Game Boy
I wouldn't
days.
get the classic white. I'd have to get white, and then I'd get none, and then none, because I'm boring. But that's probably what I'd go for.
Hey, I've got the Spidey plates coming. I've got Venom crawling all over my console in a month. I can say nothing.
But yeah, check it out. This is always a great option. I know that Final Fantasy 16 had some heating issues running that software, so you never know what's coming up down the line. Hey, best protect your software with smart technology. And if they're adding more venting to it, there's not really an issue, I see. And they're avoiding lawsuits. I know that's their main thing there. But yeah, I like the site. Look at that. Great marketing.
It's a well put together site, Dark
I
Plates.
will
Yeah.
be purchasing mine, and I'll let you know how the whole experience goes. Lastly, before we head out, fans of Jack in the Box, get ready for the musical version.
We've got Jackbox 9 coming.
This is the musical version of Jack in the Box. Jackbox Party Pack
Wait.
10.
Musical. Party 10? I missed
Do, do, re,
9.
mi.
What?
Yeah, use your phone as instruments to play along with the song. So it's kind of like this. I saw the video of it. They're like pressing the buttons along with the song. It's kind of like that. But yeah, here we have it.
Oh mate,
Do, do, re, mi.
I have a friend from the Nerd Migos called Gringo Gren. He buys every single Jackbox
Really?
game, and then he just has party nights around his place. So like Wibble will be there, Massively will be there, I'll be there, and so on and so forth. And we just play Jackbox games, and it gets totally out of hand, totally inappropriate, but it is so much fun. Give us this. We will form the greatest mobile phone band on the planet. And by greatest, I mean worst.
Well,
Oh, I love Jackbox.
yeah. It doesn't.
Like they just know how to make something that is fun in a mini
And
game.
it's so easy to participate. Only one person needs the game. Then you just need to
Yeah.
see what's happening. It's a great game if you're a streamer to get everyone included. The video does not want to work.
Fantastic community game, like you say.
But
Yeah,
that's fine. It's a musical Jack in the Box add-on. Be sure to check it out. Do, re, mi. And that
game.
is everything I have for today. Or what's this last thing? Oh, lastly, from Circana, I should have put this up at the top. Accessory spending done in, this will maybe surprise you. June accessory spending increased 14% when compared to a year ago, totaling $214 million. June's top 4 best-selling accessories in dollars were PlayStation 5 DualSense gamepads. And guess what led that? The DualSense Edge. What? Go back paddles.
but there are some people with more money than
Go
sense out
back
there.
paddles.
Like, don't get me wrong, I want one. I just don't have £210 for a controller.
I did not think.
Like, the one that came with the console does the job fine.
Who would have thought it would have led accessories? Like, no one. People said this thing was dead out of the
No
water.
one. No one. I would not have put that in.
And all you gotta do is charge it all the time, but it works great.
Hey, this one don't need charging, bruh, and it's half the price.
But does it? It doesn't have the back paddles, does it?
No, there's no back pad, but
It's
mine
very
extends
nice.
and reveals the PlayStation logo in the
That is
middle.
pretty cool, actually. But pretty cool. I just like to go rep the back paddles. Hashtag team back paddles here. Great success releasing that Pro controller, and it's obviously paying off for them. So we'll definitely see a second iteration in the Pro controller with this kind of success, and I just hope that they extend the battery life on the next one. Do either of you have any interest in Mortal Kombat 1? It looks amazing. My opinion on Mortal Kombat games are that they are rhythm-based games, and it's not really combat. It's just kind of, can you memorize the pattern at the right time? I could play the game with a Guitar Hero controller. It's not really combat. It's but let's just throw that fire on there. I swear Cowboy was waiting for that.
I am very interested in it, but I am interested to watch somebody else play it so that I can get the story. I love the story that NetherRealm put in their fighting games. I am just not good enough at them to be able to get to that story. So I need somebody else to play it online for me so that I can watch them do it. Much better than I ever will.
I can't believe you returned the DualSense Edge. But no worries. Some of us need those back paddles. Absolutely find it essential when I was playing Sekiro, Elden Ring. So useful to have back paddles. I just find the From Software games. I can't wait for Armor Core. I'm going to map both those bad boys. Yeah, it's just going to be awesome. You know, I've actually...
Things like reload and dodge on the back paddles is really useful because it means you're not taking your thumb off the stick, and that's one of the main reasons you often do. I can see the reason for it. I do eventually want a Pro controller, whether I would go for the DualSense Edge or one of the Scuffs or one of the other custom controllers, because I could get my logo put on the UK Customs controllers, and I find that kind of cool. But also, it's like, I want the DualSense. A lot of the Scuff ones take out the haptics and put in standard rumble or no rumble at all. So, I eventually, it'll just depend what I'm up to when I'm there. Well, what's available at the time.
For all those interested, Mortal Kombat 1 crossplay allows Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox players to all play against each other in the fighting game. So that is cool.
Does Switch have the motion controls with it for the
because
moves?
it wouldn't make sense because they're not real moves that you're pressing. You're pressing a predetermined set of buttons and rotations.
Yeah, but if you just do that to do your aerial grab, for example, like, I could see that might be a really good workout, that one, and I might be able to advance if I can do it physically.
That would be, bring VR Mortal Kombat. That would be cool. You gotta do like this.
I do not want to see my own body left behind when my spine is ripped out, thank you.
Performing
is not one of those games to put in VR.
Would be next level.
What we got in chat then? So we've had the question about MK1. Purple is going to be playing around with dark plates. We may have turned her to the dark side. Excellent. Excellent.
I'm going to be on dark blades, definitely getting a set because I want to change up my PS5.
Apparently we've just cost Miss Phoenix a month's wage in dark plates. Sorry, Miss Phoenix.
Ooh. Let me know which ones you get. I'm thinking either the black or like they have this gray that reminds me of the Super Nintendo, and I'm like,
nice. Fun. Cowboy will be streaming MK1, so I can watch somebody else play it and still get the story. Yay!
Yes, be sure to check out Cowboy, King of Entertainment, as well. He will be live 5:30 or 6 o'clock Eastern tonight. Be sure to just check Cowboy out, King of Entertainment, on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, or the X's, whatever they call it now.
It's called, yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. I believe that's all we have for today's Super PlayStation Brothers. Be sure to check us out next week at the same time, same place. We'll be kicking it. Any final words, Dorgon?
Oh, make sure to go watch my PSVR 2 after 6 months video released last week. I'm currently working on a Final Fantasy 16 review. That's going to take a little bit of time because it's a bit of a video essay. So I am going to try and get a couple of things out in the interim for you guys. Both of us are in the description below. Whilst you're in that general region, make sure to hit that sub button. Make sure to slap that like button and share this video as well. If you hit that share button and hit copy link, it does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. It pushes it out to loads more people, and we will thank you most appreciatively.
Yes, and as they say, be kind and bring peace into the world. Thank you, and take care. Let's
Later,
roll the
rolls.
credits.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me who finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as me.